First of all, it's great to be here. Thank you. And so far, we've heard from some great government people. We got academians, and I guess you call that spiritual, right? And I get to talk about business a little bit. I'm an entrepreneur, okay? And I'm going to share with you my perspective on happiness and how it can make a difference in your business, but how entrepreneurs, because I heard that question asked earlier today, how can businesses, reach out there and be a part of the equation to make this world a happier place, make a difference? And I really believe that businesses can be it, because all business is a bunch of people gathered together around a common cause. That's all it is. And great businesses have great people, and they understand their people. And if you I think this room, I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but I think we all understand one thing, that happiness has been proven now through academia and research and clinical and brain scans and everything, that happiness is the precursor to success. That, quite honestly, most people have it backwards. They think if I get my health or my finances or my relationship, I'll become happy. And it's not true. If you just learn how to be happy, you become healthier. You have better finances. You have better relationships. So if you're a business owner, there's no greater thing you can do for your company, for your employees, than do what? Make them happy. Because when they become happy, they become what? More productive. When they become more productive, become what? You become more successful. So if happiness is a precursor to success, then a happy company is a precursor to a successful company. And so I was just interviewed by Forbes magazine, and I've been really blessed. I've had a lot of companies, and pretty much every one of them has been successful, and had just some really neat things happen in my life. And they were talking to me about that, and they asked me, what do you think is the thing that's allowed you to be successful? And everybody's always looking for the obvious thing. Well, I understood this about the market, I understood this about products, or I understood this about systems, or I was in the right place at the right time, and all those things do matter. But my answer was culture. I focus on culture. I believe in people. I believe people come first, and they build companies. Companies don't build people, people build companies. And I believe culture is the most magical thing you can do. And culture is not something you just say, hey, we're going to have culture. Culture is something that comes from inside you. The CEO of a company, he has to own it. He has to believe in it. It's got to come from every fiber of who he is. But the culture is a magical thing, because what a culture does is it attracts like-minded people. When you have a positive, happy culture, what do you attract? Positive, happy people. What do? Become more productive. So culture attracts like-minded people, but the other thing culture does is repels the people who do not belong to be with you. And that's just as important, to not to have the people amongst you that can hurt you as much as the people who can be with you. So people who focus on culture does two things. It attracts and it repels. The other thing culture does, and I said this, when you build a happy culture, you know what happens? They go out and bring happy people to you. You don't even have to search for employees, because happy people are searching for happy places to work. And so from a business perspective, it's not just the right thing to do, because it is the right thing to do to make your employees happy. You should pour into them. We do so many things for our employees, way beyond what the average company does. And it's the right thing to do, but guess what? It's the smart thing to do. It's by far the most, when it comes down to what do I do to be successful, obviously there's products, obviously there's marketing, obviously there's all these things that we do to build a business, but it's a smart thing to do. So some people just have to be driven by the smart thing, but quite honestly, it's the right thing. And for me, Christine, I come from media too. I built a TV network back in the 1990s, and I know those cameras, big old cameras, Cameras that cost $500 now cost $60,000 back then, you remember? And but I produced a TV network, a private TV network on personal development. Produced 900 shows around family, finance, health, relationships, career, just how to be a better person. And it was dedicated to being a positive TV network, nothing negative. It was a private network. You could get on there to subscribe to it. It was called The People's Network. And I built that, and also started writing books about how to become a better person. And my biggest book was Slide Edge, and it was just a very simple book about successful people do the little things that pretty much seem to make no difference at all in the act of doing them. They just do them over and over and over with consistency and persistency over a long enough period of time till they're successful. Not the compound, it's not about these big things that happen to you. And so I built that, but it was really interesting as I evolved away from that and I sold that. I was kind of going along doing my things, and I started seeing this happiness thing pop up. All you people here did this, okay? And this is about 3 or 4 years, and I go, what is this, okay? Because see, when I did personal development, I saw it as the precursor to making great people. If people read the right books and listened to the right tapes and associated with the right people and went to the right events, it would make them a better person, thus they'd be more successful. I saw it as a precursor, and I saw this happiness thing showing up. And see, Personal development comes out of the world of people's life experiences. They live their life and then they write about it, okay? But this happiness or well-being or positive psychology, whatever you want to call it, was coming out of academia. And it was sitting over there and all this research, and I started piling through the research, and I said, my God, look at all this information on happiness and what it is. And I actually sat down with Dr. Mark Seligman, sat on a beach with him for hours, and we just had a blast talking about about where we came from, because I came from this world in personal development, he came from this world in academia, and got to know him very, very well. And in that process, I really got to understand this happiness space, and I realized that there's this huge abundance knowledge and data on happiness. And what they'd proven through academia, and they'd proven through research and science and brain scans, and they showed me all this data, and I went over and met with you guys at University of Penn and all that, and they showed me all these neat things they're doing with lexicons and mapping of words and all this cool stuff. You could just see it's obvious that happiness is the precursor, that the world has it backwards. We all, like I said earlier, we think when I have my finances in order, my relationships in order, my health in order, I'll be happy. It's exactly opposite. If you become happy, all those things happen. It's been proven beyond a shadow of doubt. But here's where it gets so neat. It's easy, and it's available to the average person. See, personal development's not easy. It's reading books, and it's going to seminars. It feels heavy. It feels like going to 13th and 14th grade. Happiness is 3 gratitudes a day for 30 days, and you can change the neurons in your brain, how they fire. You can start rewiring yourself. You can take a grumpy old man and in 30 days turn him into a happy person. It's easy to obtain. That's when I got even more excited. That is, not only is it's a precursor, but it's easy. And you look at science, science will show you how easy it is. Go look at Sean Aker, what he wrote, and look at what you can do with that. He comes from Harvard. And there's all this great research, and it just shows you that it's a precursor, and it's easy. It's not hard. The average person, it can easily become happy. And the other thing they say, it's not about big things that happen to you. So I think a lot of people think when I win the lottery, when this big thing happens to me, when I lose 100 pounds, when I become rich, these are big things. It's not big things, it's little things that you do. And so science has proven it's the precursor. What science has proven it's available. What science has proven is that it's little things that you do. It's not big things that happen to you. So that's when I got excited. And that's when we started Live Happy. And who was at the lunch today? Okay, Carol, you did a great job. Carol's our editor-in-chief of Live Happy magazine, and we started Live Happy Media. It was real simple. We just have one simple dream. And I say this to you, and I'm really sat here and listening to all you guys very hard today, because I don't care if you're the government. I don't care if you're the academians. I don't care if you're the spiritual leaders. And what I'm about ready to say, what we're trying to accomplish, I think you have to accomplish. I really do, okay? It begins with awareness. Everything begins with awareness, in my opinion. And what I mean by that, let's just say this could be a child in the middle of Africa in a third world country where they have access to nothing, to a person that sits in the most privileged University of Harvard, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? Let's just say this is all the information there is about happiness. Everything is out there about happiness. Okay, if that is there, but you only know about this much, how much exists in your life? This much or this much? This much. It starts with awareness. So the first thing we have to do, which you're all talking about, we have to increase awareness. Let me tell you right now, let's walk out of here, let's go down to Union Square, let's go down Times Square, let's top 100 people, and we say to them, do you know that happiness is the precursor to success? It's not the other way around, and I guarantee you it's 99.9% don't know that. They don't know the magic button out there. They don't know that happiness is the precursor. They got it all backwards. And we shift that awareness, and we shift that consciousness. That's when people start searching for it, because you've got to give a piece of people want to know what's in it for me, okay? So when you start telling people, and that's our goal, is to start telling them, and you can prove this. You can sit there through all the stuff out of Harvard and Beijing University, Dr. Penn, all these people saying the exact same thing. It's a precursor. So you go out and you've got to change the awareness. You've got to let everybody know happiness is a precursor. The governments need to do it. The academians need to do it. The spiritual leaders need to do it, because they don't know it. We have a secret here, okay? The second thing they need to know, quite honestly, think about this, and this is where I come from, okay? Is here's where we start with how much information is out there about happiness. But how much do they know? This much. But if they know about that much, but they can only access that much, how much exists in their life? That much. Because then it matters if you know about it. You take a child who's in one of these third world countries, and they are aware of happiness. Somebody told them, hey, if you become happy. But then they say, and you tell them, but here's the information, but they can't get it. If you can't, the books you don't read can't help you. If there's somebody tells you about a book, but you can't read the book, does the book exist in your life? It doesn't exist. Okay? So we got to do what? Expand awareness and expand accessibility. That's where it starts with the educational systems. That's what starts with social media. That starts with what we did with the magazine. That's what starts with awareness and with the media and that type of thing. What we've got to do is expand the awareness, and we've got to expand the accessibility to it. And then the last thing, which is what I'm just totally driven by, is a real thing that makes information work is people. People touching people. Okay, I've always said if information technology is the answer, wouldn't it be over already? There's more information technology today about health than there's ever been and what's happening to our health. More information technology today than there's ever been about relationships and what's happening to relationships. More information technology today about finances, what's happened to finances. The truth is, over the last 10 years, information technology has exploded and the other things have gone down. Because what we've lost is people touching people. You got to expand the awareness of happiness. You got to expand accessibility, but we got to get people touching each other. We got to get people talking to each other. We got to get people coming together. And so what we're doing here at Live Happy, very simple. I'm not here to do an infomercial on Live Happy at all. But our goal is, whether it's through magazine or media or all social media and all the different things we're going to do, is expand the awareness of it, to expand the accessibility to it. But our real goal at the end of the day is, can we bring people together? For example, today, we built 30 walls around this country, the United States. And our goal next year is to have 1,000 around the world. But we had to start somewhere, okay? Because even a year ago, we hadn't started the company. It was a dream still. Everything starts with a blank piece of paper. You start writing on it, okay? And we started, but we have 30 walls we built. They're here, and they're in Chicago, they're in New York, and they're in LA, and they're in El Paso, and they're in Nashville, and they're in Orlando. I could go on and on. And we have film crews there, and we have media stations there. We have everybody, and we have these acts of happiness. And you heard earlier, the act of happiness, sharing happiness. Who wins when somebody shares an act of happiness? The person receiving it obviously wins, but who really won? The giver. The giver always wins. And so we have these walls, and we have people out there, and they're orange shirts and the acts of happiness shirt, and they're asking people to share their act of happiness, bringing people together, creating awareness, getting them part of that. And so, what we're just trying to do is anything we can do creatively to bring people together to not only expand their awareness, not only expand their accessibility, but expand their relationships in that. Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing that happened to you was the relationship that happened to there. Relationships, to me, it's everything. I heard it a long time ago, and I've always believed this, that two minds create the third more powerful mind. What I mean by that is, have you ever been in a conversation, you go to some place you can't go to by yourself? You always do. I mean, the brilliance is always in a conversation. I sit by myself and I'm pretty stupid. But in a conversation, I get somewhere, okay? And but two people being happy become a third more happy person, quite honestly, okay? And so, back to another spiritual leader, Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama just last year, or 2 years ago, was on his birthday talking to the youth of today, and talking about how they need to be happy, that this needs to become the happy generation. And he said something that he says everything better than I could say, but he said, it comes down to, at the end of the day, you can peel everything back, and there's just two emotions that are going on, two things that we're striving for. One is to avoid pain, and one is to become happy. It's that simple. And when I look at people out there, it's really simple. I kind of divide it that there's either givers and takers. And I'm not trying to be negative here, but pretty much there's givers and takers, okay? And how I find takers to be is they're people who live in scarcity. Takers are people who think there's not enough. Givers live in abundance. They can't give enough. Mother Teresa was a giver, okay? They're givers. Givers are in abundance. I believe all we have to do here is very simple, quite honestly. The United Nations here, I'm blessed to be here. I have a chance to talk to you. Universities, I can't wait. The more universities I can talk to, the more people we can talk to. I really believe all we got to do is go get the choir. We go get the choir, then we'll get the congregation. There's a lot of people out there who are givers. Good, beautiful people. And they're very abundant thinking. And they don't know the first thing about happiness. They don't know it's the precursor. They don't know that it's easy. They don't know that it's little things that they do. And all we got to do is just go out and get the choir. Go get the believers. Go get the people who are the givers, the people who are the abundant thinkers. Get them to become more aware of happiness, become more accessible to happiness, and make them part of the process. And if we do that, very simply, I think we explode happiness. It's not that complicated. Same thing I got to do to build a great corporation is the same thing an educational system's got to do, the same thing a government's got to do, the same thing a spiritual leader's got to do, is we got to bring people together and make them part of the process. So with that, God bless you all. Thank you.